Good evening, everybody. First, I also wanted to say thank you to all of you. We're super honored to be selected through the RFP process and to have this opportunity to be part of such a unique public-private partnership. I think you guys have been really proactive in your leadership, and just wanted to acknowledge that. We really take this seriously and are excited about the opportunity here. As they said, I'm Amanda Chisolm with WS Development. I'm a development director there. I'm also joined by my colleague Lou Mazziello, who is the senior vice president and has been involved in this project for quite some time. Tonight, I'm going to take you through some background on the project. I'm also going to tell you a little bit about who we are, about WS Development. I'll walk you through the project phasing, as well as our site plan and our plans for the building, and then end with some of the renderings so that you can see what it will look like. So this was talked about a bit, but just to start from the beginning here with the bid process. We've been engaged in this property for quite some time, took over the ground lease in 2011. We were approached at the time by the ground lessee just looking for someone to bring some management and development expertise to the property, but limited at the time because we were taking over the ground lease sort of at the end of the term. So when the opportunity came up to invest and be involved in the property in the long term and open the door to a more significant capital investment, we were thrilled to be able to take advantage of that opportunity. And again, thanks to the airport for leading that effort. So the request for proposals was issued in 2018. We did submit a proposal shortly thereafter and were selected in December of 2018 with agreement and lease negotiations finalized at the end of 2019. I know it's 2023 now. I think we all know that, things were a little difficult for a while with the pandemic sort of interrupting our regular routine, also transforming really the face of the retail industry. I think that we emerged from that stronger, but it did put a pause on our ability to sort of directly launch into this. But we were able to finalize design and get everything all set towards the end of last year to bring through site plan review with the town. And we've also recently received our building permit. So we are poised and ready to go. And we've issued an NTP as of last Friday to a contractor. So we hope that construction will be imminent on site. If you've been by, you've seen some construction already underway, as we do have a tenant that's actively working. Floor and Decor is doing some fit-out work. So we're just really excited about the momentum that's already proceeding. So a little bit about WS Development. We're a private retail developer. We're based in Chestnut Hill, and our offices are at the Street, which is one of our lifestyle centers. We own over 22 million square feet and have around 9 million square feet under development. In 40 years, we have successfully developed around 100 properties across the country in different states, but we're really focused and have been headquartered since the beginning in Massachusetts and New England with many properties. In particular, one thing I'll mention is our model as not only a developer, but also an owner-operator. We're really invested in our properties, and we make sure that they succeed. We want to make sure that they're strong assets and that they contribute to the municipalities that we're a part of and the communities that we're a part of. So that's a really unique part of our model. We develop and we hold assets, and we continue to invest in them. These are just a couple examples of some of the properties that are close by in Mansfield Crossing, which is located in Mansfield, Massachusetts, as well as Derby Street Shops, which is in Hingham. And just showing you a couple of examples so you can see the style of development that we move forward with. Differentiated architecture, lush landscaping, wide sidewalks, really trying to create approachable buildings that pedestrians can walk around and enjoy while they're out shopping, grab something to eat, grab a cup of coffee, and have a place to linger. So this is kind of our model and what we hope to deploy here in Barnstable as well. For context, this is the site aerial. I'm not sure if the pointer will work, but Cape Town Plaza is located on Plan North. with Route 132 to the south, so located on a main commercial corridor here, and then bound on the east by Barnstable Road and on the west by Airport Road. You can see on the aerial just how close we are to the airport, and there's already a lot of interaction with airport employees and patrons coming over to our site. And then we also have our location right on the main commercial corridor across from Cape Cod Mall, and a lot of other commercial properties along this way. A little more on site context. This is a couple of photos of the site today, and a couple of tenants that are part of the main building. You can see one of the distinctive architectural features here is this overhanging canopy that extends out over the sidewalk. One of the main things that we're hoping to do with the development here is to pull that back and to create really approachable storefronts, again, widening those sidewalks and creating differentiated architecture to create a really nice pedestrian experience. You can also see that there's a lot of asphalt and parking, and we hope to break that up with landscaping and islands to, again, create and improve the experience here. So a quick flash forward. I won't talk about this in detail yet, but you can see what a transformation this is. Again, removing that canopy, pulling it back, incorporating differentiated materials. You can also see the amount of landscaping and trees that we're hoping to add here that will just really create a nice, new, refreshed development. In terms of our approach for phasing, this project will be phased in two phases, and the first phase is the redevelopment of the majority of the existing GLA on the property, or the main building. Phase one will also focus on improving site conditions, including significant landscape improvements, development of the green, the addition of bike racks, and really a focus on improved pedestrian circulation, including connectivity to the airport. Phase one also allows the project to achieve that significant site investment goal that's set out in our agreement between WS and the town, which is to eliminate site vacancies and also to revitalize the site before the new ground lease is scheduled to take effect. Phase one, as I mentioned, has received site plan approval. We have our FAA approvals and a permit for building construction in hand, with work to begin imminently. The second phase will include future pad site buildings and additional site work, and we're right now actually meeting with the town just to discuss our approach to permitting for the second phase. So we hope that that permitting will also start shortly, and I'll show you what that looks like on a plan in a moment here. So this plan shows the phasing. Phase one, again, with the main building getting renovated with facades across the front. And also this majority of the site work will happen as part of phase one. Again, those landscaped islands, creating a nice entryway, and making sure that pedestrian accessibility is at the forefront. Phase two, which is highlighted in the red dashed lines, will include future pad site development. Again, this is conceptual at this point. We're in discussions with the town about how to permit this, and as we move into permitting, construction will then follow. But we are trying to really focus on refreshing and transforming the site as a first step, and we believe that that will really help to drive investment in this property. So drilling in here a little bit on the approach to this site. We're focused on creating some moments here and really especially on the welcome. So we've created a narrower entryway to allow for a really good first impression when you arrive to the property. Landscaping surrounding that, again, it's narrow, so cars will approach slowly, and also ensuring that there's a nice visibility and interaction with the building. We are also focused on connectivity and pedestrian access. One thing that I will call out in particular is connectivity to the airport, which you can see up there in the right corner. We are creating a sidewalk that will go across our property, as well as a set of stairs And then we'll work with the town to put in a crosswalk, which will go to the existing sidewalk at the Cape Air facility. We know that the airport already sends many employees over, which is great for our property, but we wanted to formalize a connection there and allow it to be an asset. And also just if, folks are taking a break and they want to go for a stroll, just to allow that connection to exist in a more formal way than it does today. We're also focused on buffer enhancement along Route 132, really trying to soften the edge here, install trees and landscaping, and establish a presence along Route 132. So you'll see that is completely transformed as part of the first phase as well. And then throughout, the tenants that will take over some of these spaces will be offering opportunities for dining, putting out seating, places to stop, have a cup of coffee. You'll see that we've also prioritized making sure that all of the existing buildings are connected by sidewalks so that pedestrians can walk across. And of course, the green, which is on the left side here, will be a great feature of the property. Many of our properties incorporate this type of space. It becomes a gathering area, a place for kids to play, a place to sit and rest while you're out shopping or enjoy a meal. And then this image is actually just showing pedestrian accessibility across the site. So the purple lines here are just showing the paths that pedestrians can take. Again, wanting to make sure that we had focused on creating sidewalk connections and crosswalk connections, prioritizing walkability, incorporating wide sidewalks, and making it feel like a really approachable property where you want to take a stroll while you're out. In terms of landscaping, we also are very focused on incorporating native plantings. Plantings in the islands have been selected from species that are native to New England and Cape Cod to ensure that they will have the longest lifespan. We're also really focused on increasing the number of trees, in particular along Route 132, so that area will feel very different and refreshed. And we will be installing a rain garden in the Long Island closest to where IHOP is located today to not only help with stormwater management, but also to add a diversity of plantings there. And this image just shows you sort of the differentiation amongst the different species of native plantings so that we're focused on variety and color in addition to ensuring that they're the right plants for the environment. And then at the green, the trees have been specifically picked out to provide shade so that when people are there sitting down, enjoying the common seating, they have that opportunity to sit in shade. And the same, we're installing some landscaped planters around the area to frame that space and a number of native plantings in this area too. So moving on from the site, I'm going to talk a little bit about the building renovation that we're doing and talk about our design inspiration so that you have some background on what we landed on ultimately with our architect. So we're working with Jacobs, and we started a process where we basically wanted to ensure that we were both in keeping with the character of Hyannis and Cape Cod and blending sort of that New England charm with a more modern aesthetic. So these are just some of the precedent images that we were looking through, trying to focus on symmetry and balanced design, white and black accents, and really focused on differentiating materials. That main building has a long stretch of facade, so wanting to break that up and make it feel approachable was really important, and we wanted Jacobs to prioritize that throughout the process. Again, some additional precedents here showing gridded windows, some of the lighting and materiality, different types of siding that you'll see employed within the design. So all of these precedents eventually led to our final design. So I'm going to walk you through these renderings. I'll just orient everyone and talk through basically from west to east across the main building, what this will look like. And again, we have building permit in hand and we'll be moving forward shortly. So for those of you that are familiar with the property, this is the end where Cardi's most recently was located, so the far west side, where the green will also be installed. So you can see, again, sort of that differentiation in materiality with the siding and the clapboard and shiplap, and creating different heights just to really create that approachability, which is so important for pedestrians that are experiencing the space. You can also see how we've tried to activate the green here with landscaping and some interesting furniture, a variety of benches and lounge chairs to provide opportunities for people to sit and enjoy the space. As you walk further east, you can see again the stretch of tenants here drilling into the green space. You can see the planters that are sort of differentiating and outlining this space, as well as some of the common seating that we plan to provide. So you can tell that it's basically completely transformed, a whole new feel, which is very exciting. We can't wait to see this take shape. This is another view of the green from the opposite side. We are hoping that our tenants will all be permitted to install blade signs so that they have that interaction with pedestrians as they're walking along in front, and then again with tenants providing common seating and opportunities throughout. These are some examples of what tenants can do with their storefronts, with trim, different colors, murals, fabric awnings, and again, just pointing out those wider sidewalks and the landscaping that is integrated throughout. One very exciting tenant that we do have signed on and that will serve as a anchor for the property is Whole Foods Market. We're very excited that they'll be coming to the site because they're not only going to generate a lot of interest from the public, but also we think this will be a great driver for additional leasing opportunities. So we are going to be working with them, and again, excited to announce that they're coming to the property. You can see when you integrate a grocer into a site like this, there's also opportunities to, again, do seating, activate the sidewalks. So this will be a really great opportunity for the property that will help to drive investment. And these are more views of what that seating might look like. As we get closer to the entryway, again, seeing sort of that differentiation in architecture. This is a zoom in of the main entryway or driveway I referred to. We're narrowing this, providing landscaping to really create this nice approach to the main building. New site lighting, new trees. And then walking across toward where the former Kmart was located. And again, just incorporating different elements like trellises, shingles, clapboard siding. And then I'll just end with this aerial of the left side of the building, just to give you a sense of how much and how different it truly is going to look. In addition to the building, also just the amount of landscaping that we're incorporating and how we're really trying to break this up and create a nice, welcoming environment. So with that, I can take any questions.
I understand that you announced that Whole Foods is to be the anchor store there. Is there any other notable announcements that anybody signed on?
Yes, so on site, we have Floor & Decor that's actively doing tenant work. So if you've been by there, you'll see them. They're fitting out their space, and they'll be opening in a portion of the former Kmart.
I also understand that it's been rumored at least that there'd be pickleball courts going in there. That's been a big, people have been asking a lot about that because they love pickleball. Can you confirm or deny that there'd be pickleball courts going in the site?
We do know people love pickleball. Yes, I can confirm that. My colleague, because it's funny, she's actually been to a few Rotary meetings where they've talked about their interest in that, and I know that the one tenant has engaged with the town, and I understand our leasing rep has talked to them, but I can't really confirm where those negotiations are or whether or not they'll end up on the site.
Okay, and the last thing I'll ask you is the developers across the street, they have made it announced publicly that they have interest in developing affordable, real estate. Housing. I apologize, and some hotel space as well. Is there any interest in that with being in partnership with the airport here?
So at this time, our proposal does not include housing, and I don't know, Katie, if you want to comment on this as well, I'm happy to give you the floor.
Typically, on a property that is owned by an airport, the FAA will frown against housing. Typically, a compatible land use is your commercial space, industrial space, or retail space. That's more compatible with airport operations. Obviously, we're surrounded by residential dwellings that live around the airport, but to physically place housing on airport property is usually something that the FAA does not want us to go forward with. So the plan and the program with WS Development initially, even as part of the RFP, did not include housing as an opportunity on this site.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Any other questions?
Okay, thank you guys. Appreciate it.